So I was visiting my neighbor yesterday. He's a retired logger, and we were going through his shop, and I came across this. I asked him about it, and he said I could have it. It's an old pickaroon or a hookaroon with a bad handle. So let's take this into the shop and see if we can't turn this into something special. So this hookaroon is the predecessor of the newer ones here. You can see essentially the same thing. This is not a very effective design, as I found out here. I've got a piece of hard seasoned cherry on the floor, and I'll demonstrate to you what I'm talking about. First with the old pickaroon. The old picker will stick it, but when you pick it up with just a little bit of movement, it drops it. Now with the new picker. Much better bite. The problem with the old one is that the pick is just too fat, and it just doesn't quite have enough hook in it. It's not sharp enough, so we'll fix that and make it so it'll work just as good as the new one. The reason why I want to spend some time on this is that I like the old tools, and I want something with a longer, proper axe handle on it. So I've got this nice custom-made handle here with a nice big butt end on it, a nice big round knob that I can have a little bit extra reach. I really like this one, but it's a little bit short sometimes, so having a longer one is going to be a nice addition to my forestry tool set. It's kind of interesting. So it looks like someone's put a roll pin in here, so we'll take a punch and see if we can drive that out. That's a unique feature. That's exactly what they did. I don't see where that could do any harm. I don't know if it's necessary or not, but we'll put it back that way. So getting this cleaned up has revealed a few things. If I had to guess, I would say that this was homemade. This, I'll bet, is a piece of pipe, water pipe perhaps, that's been smashed into an eye. You can see kind of the imperfections. I can see the weld mark on the inside of it. But this, the hook part is cast. You can see here, obviously that's been welded on and not dressed up very good, maybe repaired. So we'll clean this up and see what we can do with it. So that looks a little bit better than that goopy weld. I think we're ready for a handle. We'll do a little fine tuning on this pick, but I want to be careful to not take too much material off because it's hard to put back. So since this handle was designed for an axe head, which is much taller, the kerf only comes down to about right there. So we'll need to cut that down into here somewhere carefully so that we can wedge this head. This looks like a job for the golden guinea. Many thanks from Ireland. So I've never fitted one of these to a handle, so the process is going to be a little bit different. There's not much mass to it, so we can't do it traditional way. So I'll probably put this on the ground and punch this down. And the fact that it's made out of a piece of water pipe and not perfectly, the eye is not ideal. It's not going to be the best fit I've ever done, but there's no reason why we can't put it on there in a way that it will work and not work loose and be nice and tight. So alright, let's wedge it. These little curly cues that come off there from the handle, you can just take and razor knife and just cut those off. So it's time to wedge the handle. I make my own wedges out of hickory. And we'll see if we can seat that, get a nice tight fit. Because of the irregularities in that head, I can hear, as I'm pounding the wedge, I can hear the wood just cracking slightly, but it's actually, the hickory is so tough that it's actually straight. Well, I wouldn't say it's straightening out the metal, but it's definitely filling the void, so I'm going to take it a little bit further. If you have a question whether or not you're still getting movement in your wedge, just simply draw a line on it with a pencil and then tap it. You just want a nice brisk even tap, but you'll get to the point where if you do enough of it, you can feel it, that it's not going in anymore. Once you see the pencil mark hold and you're not pushing it past into the head, then you know you're in good shape. And you can see here that the handle's flaring out. That's a really nice wedged fit right there, so we'll cut that off now.
And it is not a mere fancy, for we cannot get rid of the idea, and most of the things we say and think about men would be reduced to nonsense if we did. It may not be anything real, anything above and beyond the actual facts which we observe. But in the case of man, we saw that this will not do. The law of human nature, or of right and wrong, must be something above and beyond the actual facts of human behavior. In this case, besides the actual facts, you have something else. A real law which we did not invent, and which we know we ought to obey.
Turned out pretty nice. I love this handle. That is a great shape for this. A big knob at the end, so you can use it at the very end of the handle. And the linseed oil brought out the beauty of the grain. Perfectly wedged. That's what I like to see right there. Nice and tight. I'm not going to put that roll pin in. It's not necessary. That's a stopgap measure. That's not a proper way to do it. Pretty tight fit. That's an interesting idea, to use smash a water pipe for an eye of a tool like that. I've never seen it before. Not as good as cast, but for something like this, this is not an impact tool. That is just fine. Special now, though.